So if I had to move to Dallas all over again, there is one place I would be seriously looking to. And I'm going to tell you exactly where that is, but more importantly, I'm going to walk you through my entire thought process so you can make the best decision for your situation. Hi, I'm Dee, your real estate broker here in the DFW area, and I help a lot of people relocate to and within the Metroplex find their perfect home. So I'm speaking from some real experience here, and today I am going to break down exactly where I would live if I was relocating to Dallas right now. Now keep in mind, I have been in Dallas for a long time, and I've lived in several different cities, and that's mostly because I wasn't really here for the commute. So anytime I got a new job or I wanted to try something new, I would just move to the area. But that was until I bought my first house, and then I was kind of a little bit more settled from there. So I have to be honest, this question was actually harder for me to think about than I actually expected, but I got it from one of my viewers, and I really wanted to answer, like, where would I live today if I was moving to Dallas? And that's because I lived all over DFW. I didn't have a problem moving if I wanted to try something new. So I lived in Addison, I lived in the Colony, and I spent some time in Cedar Hill as well. And again, like I said before, I bought my first house and I lived in Rowlett. So I've experienced different corners of the Metroplex, from south to east and even central. So let me tell you a little bit about each of those cities first. Addison was really great for the restaurant scene and nightlife. And it was also really cool to be really close to the airport, which is really convenient. But the traffic on the tollway and on the belt line through Addison can be quite brutal because Addison is really not a big city. But it was really, really cool living in such a central part of the Metroplex. So I also lived in a Colony, and that gave me the suburban kind of family feel with really great amenities. The location was solid, not too far from anything, but I found myself driving everywhere. And sometimes it just kind of lacked a little bit of the vibe that I needed based on the time frame and age that I lived in that city at that time. I also lived in Cedar Hill, which really surprised me because it has a lot of affordability and really great sense of community. Cedar Hill gives you a lot of great value for your money, but you do have to make sure you are planning for that commute to Dallas because the traffic going up 67 to 35 can be brutal on a lot of days. So that is something you have to be mindful of if you are living in that area. And then finally, I bought my first home in Rowlett, and Rowlett had a really good small town feel with really great access to the lake. And what was cool about Rowlett is that it was kind of an easy access. If I wanted to get downtown Dallas, I can just jump on 35. But if I wanted to get to other parts of the Metroplex, including places like Plano or Frisco, sometimes it was a little bit more of a harder commute when I lived in Rowlett because it's so far east. And when I was really thinking about where I would move today, a few places came to my mind, including McKinney. It has an amazing historic downtown area, and I just really love driving to McKinney. I was actually shopping with a client that is moving to the McKinney area, and it just really reminded me that McKinney is just really nice neighborhoods, really mature areas, as well as some new areas that are popping up as well. Mansfield is also a place that popped to my mind, and it has fantastic family amenities and offers really great value. And then of course, Dallas itself. Dallas, there's really something to be said about the urban living if you move to Dallas proper. But when I really sat down and thought about it, considering everything I've experienced, Las Colinas kept coming up to the top of my mind, and I want to share why. But before I tell you why Las Colinas wins for me, let me give you the quick landscape of what we're working with, because understanding your options is really, really crucial. If you're thinking about relocating to Dallas, the North Dallas suburbs like Plano, Frisco, and McKinney are going to offer great schools, family friendly, but you're gonna pay a premium for those areas, and you may deal with a little bit of overcrowding. And you also are gonna have longer commutes if you need to commute to Dallas or other parts of the Metroplex. McKinney's historic downtown is amazing, but you're also gonna be a little bit more north if you decide on this particular city. If you're thinking about the East Dallas areas, you're gonna have options like Garland or even Rowlett, as well as Rockwall, Forney. There are a lot of really great options on the east side of the Metroplex. You'll also have in Rowlett access to the lake, as well as some really cool urban and local suburban amenities. And if you're thinking about moving to Dallas, but South Dallas is on your radar, you're gonna have places to consider like Cedar Hill or even Mansfield, as well as DeSoto, Red Oak, or Duncanville. These are some really great options and hidden gems with a lot of value and growth amenities to those areas. But making sure you are mindful of your commute to Dallas as well as other parts of the Metroplex. If you're thinking about Dallas specifically, and more so Dallas proper, you're gonna have urban Dallas places to consider like downtown, uptown, or even the Bishop Arts District. That's gonna give you more of that urban living with walkability, entertainment, but you of course are gonna have to deal with parking, traffic, and higher cost. And then of course you have your mid-cities, and there's tons of mid-cities that kind of doesn't get talked about very much. Cities like Hearst, Euless, and Bedford. But then just on the other side of that, you have Las Colinas. And this area has some really great, unique advantages that we're going to dive into now. So I could talk about a lot of these areas, and they're all great for different people, but I'm being completely honest about where I would put my money and my family, and Las Colinas is at the top of that list. So first, Las Colinas sits in the perfect sweet spot. You are 15 minutes from the DFW airport, and I cannot overstate how valuable this is. As someone who travels almost 2 times a month, I am constantly going to DFW as well as left field. And so being able to shoot over to those airports really cool is really a key and important factor for me. So if you lived in places like Plano, you're looking at 45 minutes to get to the airport. If you're coming from McKinney, it's gonna be about an hour. So if you travel for business or for pleasure, this alone can be a really great game changer to your quality of life. In Las Colinas, you are about 20 minutes from downtown Dallas and about 25 minutes to Fort Worth. Again, because it's so central, you can get to both parts of the Metroplex fairly easy. So for those of you moving here for family, and I've talked about this in some of my other videos where you don't see your family because they're an hour away, right? Las Colinas is a really great option for some of that central commuting. Also, my consideration for Las Colinas is not just about the commute. Las Colinas has a lot of job opportunities. It is really the job center for some of the major corporations here in DFW, including ExxonMobil, Microsoft, Verizon, and Vlor. They all have headquarters or major operations in the Las Colinas area. So a lot of employers right there in the area, which brings a lot of economic stability. Another reason why I would choose Las Colinas is that it has some older parts to the city as well as newer parts. So you're gonna have access to master plan communities. And in this area, the roads make sense, the utilities are robust, and you're not dealing with growing pains of cities like Frisco or Salina or Princeton. In Las Colinas, you're gonna have access to 40 plus residential villages, which gives you incredible diversity within one area. So you can choose from anywhere between luxury high rises to family neighborhoods and gated communities. So another reason why I would choose Las Colinas if I had to do it all over again is because your dollar goes a little bit further in this area. You get luxury amenities without paying the cost of some of the higher premium suburbs like Prosper or even Plano, and you're gonna have a similar quality of life. You're gonna have better location and a little less cost by choosing an area central like Las Colinas. And compared to urban Dallas, you get some good urban conveniences without the parking challenges, some of the safety concerns, as well as sky-high cost. So if you're seriously thinking about making a move to Las Colinas or any of the other Dallas city and suburbs, I put together a really great relocation guide that you can click on that is a link in the description box that will give you a really good, deeper insight to some of the neighborhood comparisons, as well as school information and market trends. So whether you're moving to DFW from out of the state or relocating in the Metroplex, this guide is gonna be a really great insider information for you as you do your research on moving to the Dallas area. So let's talk about some of my favorite and top neighborhoods to think about if you're considering Las Colinas. The first one being Cottonwood Valley. If money is really a little bit less of a concern and you're looking for that resort style living, Cottonwood Valley is where you would want to go. The homes typically start at around $800,000 and they go well into the millions. This is going to be a gated community. It has a golf course as well as a country club. And I wanted to make sure that I brought up this particular neighborhood because sometimes you have have folks that are considering Dallas proper and you want to explore neighborhoods like Highland Park or Preston, Highland Park has a lot of traffic nightmares, and Preston Hollow still has some of its commuting challenges. But Cottonwood Valley gives you that same luxury with better practical advantages. So another really cool neighborhood and area to check out in Las Colinas is going to be Valley Ranch. Valley Ranch is a master plan community and it's done really well. Established neighborhoods with mature trees and not a whole lot of new construction zones, but really, really nice homes and modern amenities. The homes in this area typically can range anywhere from $300,000 up to $800,000. And in this community, you're going to have access to many community pools, parks, walking trails, sports facilities, as well as a country club. And if you live in Valley Ranch, the school district there is going to be a part of Urban ISD. So another really good area to check out in Las Colinas is known as the Urban Las Colinas Core. This is a great area to not only live, but work and play. In this area, you're going to have access to high-rise condos, townhomes, and they're going to range anywhere between $1,500 a month, as well as if you're looking for luxury condos, up to $500,000. The canal system creates waterfront lifestyle with walkable restaurants, bars, and entertainment. Another really cool neighborhood to check out in Las Colinas is going to be the Las Colinas Country Club. This is really a hidden gem, and it's kind of one of my wild card picks because this is the area around the Las Colinas Country Club. So homes in this area are going to range from anywhere between $400,000 up to $700,000. In this community, you'll have access to larger lots, a little bit of privacy, and you'll still have that Las Colinas address. So a couple of things I want you to remember when considering Las Colinas, and one of those things is going to be the nightlife. The canal area has really great options for dining, entertainment, and if you live in Las Colinas, you're going to be about 20 minutes from Deep Ellum or even uptown if you want more options. Another thing to consider regarding Las Colinas is that you're going to be a part of the Urban ISD, and this area has really great schools, specifically in Las Colinas. They are really strong schools with really great ratings. Another thing to consider and be mindful of if you are considering Las Colinas is going to be the airport noise. It is super close to the airport, which is one of the benefits, but you want to make sure that that is something you're mindful of if you move to this area. Most of the residents that live in Las Colinas say they don't even notice much after a few weeks. So again, if I had to move to Dallas tomorrow, there are really some great cities that would be at the top of my list, but I put Las Colinas on there specifically for the luxury living options, the family life options, as well as the easy access to urban parts of the Dallas Metroplex. So in Las Colinas, you're gonna have access to a really great location, established infrastructure, unlike some of the new suburbs and communities that we're seeing that are dealing a lot with their growth pain. So this makes it a really smart choice for moving to the DFW right now. So let's be honest, Las Colinas is not one of the trendier choices. It probably may not even come up in SEO when people are thinking about moving to the area. It's not one of the cheapest choices, but it is one of the most well-rounded choices that gives you the best quality of life, and it is a strong long-term prospect. So what about you? If you had to move to Dallas right now, or if you already live in Dallas, I would love to know another area that you are thinking about moving to and why. Is it for work? Is it for family? Or is it just for a change of scenery? Also, are you team North Dallas suburbs, Dallas, or are you thinking about some of the South Dallas suburbs? I would love to know your opinion. And if you are seriously considering a move to the Dallas area, don't try to figure this out alone. You can reach out to me with the information that is on your screen, and I know a lot of the ins and outs of the cities here in the Metroplex, and I would love to get on a call with you to talk about your goals, what your family is looking for, and to help you make the best decision that is right for your move to Texas. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.